In the pre-solicitation phase, we're going to have to identify what our requirement is. And this will be all part of your purchase request that you are going to be sending to either the purchase card holder or the contracting officer, the buyer. As part of this requirement, we need to identify what that requirement is, what it has to do, what is the output that it must perform. Now, under services, we would identify the characteristics of the service that's going to be performed. What is the output? What is the overall objective that we have the contractor performing? In a requirement, if for services, we would have a statement of work. And before you do your statement of work, we really should do a work breakdown structure. In a work breakdown structure, it's a graphic representation of what it is we want the contractor to do. It may be any type of service, admin support, technical support, any number of different things that we, the government, contract out for services. And so my example is we are contracting out for security. And in my example, we're not talking about communications security. We're strictly talking about physical security of the building. It may be we'd have to have a person that actually stands at the entrance ensuring that the people have the proper identification before they come in. And then we would have individuals throughout the building that would be providing some roving security. They also have to have administrative personnel, management, all types of individuals that would be part of this security. Now, breaking this work breakdown structure into elements that we can assure that the contractor understands what it is that they're supposed to do. I'm arbitrarily, and this is normally how we would break down the requirements, but I'm breaking it down into 4 elements. The first one being people. The contractor would have to have some amount of people performing different functions. In addition to that, they would have to have some amount of equipment, the types of equipment that they would have to have in order to do their job. Certainly communication devices to be able to talk to each other. They also have to have some administrative support. Administration is billing to just making out records and reports, that all of the administrative functions that would be not performed by these people actually doing the guard duties, but doing administrative functions. And then the last area that I'm breaking it down into is management. And a company always has to have some amount of management. Management can be very important for a contractor, for the government to know that the contractor has management that understands what it is that the government requires. In addition to this, we're going to have evaluation of the contractor's past performance. Past performance is always an evaluation for every acquisition that the government makes over $100,000 for the Department of Defense, $1 million for most other federal government agencies. But past performance always must be an evaluation factor. These evaluation factors are identified in the solicitation that the government sends out to a contractor. In this area, I'm going to apply specific percentages to each one of these evaluation functions. I believe management is the most important evaluation function that we have, and I'm going to provide it with 50% of the overall evaluation of this contractor's proposal. In addition to that, I'm going to identify that people are 25% of the overall evaluation, admin being 15%, and equipment being 10%. Now that always adds up to 100%, which I did not provide any weight to past performance, and I'll show you why in a few minutes. We've told the contractor in section M of the solicitation that we're contracting out for security, that their proposal needs to be broken down into 4 sections, and we've told them the relative importance of each one of these sections that we're going to evaluate. In addition to these 4 sections, we can develop that into more depth for our own benefit. We could identify how many people we think the contractor should have to perform security and the certifications that they would be required to have. The past performance, the experience of these individuals. So past performance may be caught more than one time in people and in the contractor themselves and in management. So there are a number of times that past performance comes into play here. With this information, we're going to then write our statement of work. We try to let the contractor tell us how they're going to perform the function. We tell them the function that has to be performed. Now, in evaluating a contractor's proposal, we have proposal evaluation factors, which I had just identified. So now we have critical evaluation factors for the proposal. The critical evaluation factors that I used were people, equipment, administration, and management, and past performance. And the contractor then would tell us what their experience is and how they would be performing in each one of those areas. In addition to that, in the solicitation, we should tell the contractor that we're going to have performance evaluation factors. These are the standards that we're going to measure the contractor's performance against. How can you tell a contractor that they're not doing a good job unless you have something that we're measuring performance against? There has to be something that says this is acceptable performance and this is unacceptable performance. So we need to have some standards. So what are the minimum standards that we can live with? Well, the user, the customer, is the ones that are going to have to make the determination on what standard we can live with. The government always does some amount of market research. Market research is just finding out what's out there. Is there a contractor that has the capability of doing what it is that we want done? We also have identified in our requirements risk management. What are the risks associated with the contract that we have? Now we're looking at this, we're in pre-solicitation. This is before we ever buy anything. We're identifying how much are we going to pay for it, how long are we going to keep it, how long do we expect this to be useful to us. So these are all things that we should be considering during pre-solicitation. Who does this? Normally it would be the user, the customer, the program manager, the project officer. If there are quality assurance individuals that would be monitoring contractors after award, they should be involved with this. And hopefully we can get the contracting office involved here also.